Beneath a sky as pale as bone, the savanna stretched for miles, a great, empty ocean of grass shimmering under the heat. The air quivered, alive with the hum of insects, the smell of scorched earth. Every creature moved slowly, carefully, saving energy in the cruel, dry season. Near a lonely kopje, a rocky outcrop rising like an island from the sea of grass, a drama was unfolding. A young giraffe calf stood frozen, her long legs stiff with fear. She had strayed too far from her mother, chasing a patch of green leaf that clung stubbornly to a thorn tree. Now she stood in the open, completely alone. At first, she heard nothing. Then the shadows moved, not from the wind, but from shapes, low and silent, creeping forward. Painted wolves. There were 7 of them, lean and restless, their mottled coats blending with the dust and thorn bush. They fanned out like spokes on a wheel, yellow eyes fixed on the trembling calf. The calf backed up, hooves skidding in the dry soil, her tail flicking wildly. She let out a high, desperate bleat, a sound that cut through the still air like a knife. The cry echoed across the plain, but no mother's towering shadow appeared on the horizon. The wolves drew closer. They were careful, cautious, but hungry. The dry season had been cruel, and their ribs pressed against their fur like bars. One wolf darted forward, snapping at the calf's legs before leaping back again. Another followed, testing her fear. The calf stumbled, her long legs tangling beneath her, and then the ground began to shake. At first, it was just a faint tremor, a ripple in the dust. Then it grew a deep, rhythmic thud that made the wolves pause mid-step. Their ears twitched, heads turning. From behind the kopje, a massive figure appeared, a black rhinoceros, his horn glinting in the white sunday. His ears flicked forward, nostrils flaring. He had heard the cry. The wolves hesitated. They had seen this before, the fury of a rhino, unpredictable, unstoppable. The calf turned toward the newcomer, sides heaving, but the rhino didn't charge her. Instead, he moved forward slowly, deliberately, placing himself between her and the circling predators. Dust swirled around his feet as he lowered his head, horn pointing like a spear. The wolves spread out again, trying to find an angle. One gave a sharp, high yip, and for a moment it looked as though they might risk it. The rhino scraped his hoof against the earth, a low rumble building in his chest, like distant thunder. And then he charged. The savanna exploded with motion. Dust flew as the wolves scattered, their feet kicking up tiny clouds as they ran. The rhino thundered after them, tearing a path through the brittle grass until the last of the predators vanished into the far horizon. Silence returned. The calf stood trembling, wide-eyed, as the rhino turned back toward her. For a long moment, the two simply stood there, the tiny giraffe, the massive rhino with nothing but the sound of wind and dust between them. Slowly, the calf took a step forward, then another, until she was close enough that her long eyelashes almost brushed his thick gray hide. She pressed her head against his shoulder just for a second before backing away. In the distance, a low shape appeared, her mother galloping back across the plain, her long neck slicing across the horizon. The calf bolted toward her, stumbling but fast, and the two met in a tangle of legs and necks, nuzzling and breathing each other's scent. When the mother lifted her head again, the rhino was already walking away, his heavy steps slow, steady, fading to the heat haze until he was nothing but a shadow swallowed by the distance. The calf turned once more, looking after him, as though she would never forget. If you ever stand in the heart of the savanna when the world feels still, you might think nothing is watching you. But out there, beyond the grass, are stories like this, where predator and prey, danger and salvation meet in a single moment. Sometimes the wild saves itself. Sometimes the most dangerous creatures are the ones that protect life.